The workshop that I participated in was about the funding mechanism, access to funding for diaspora organizations. That in itself obviously being one of the core problems, that smaller diaspora-led organizations have quite a challenge accessing funding for their organization. They might be able to access funding for small projects, but then there's no sustainable funding for the organization to grow and what we would call core funding, to have funding to actually run your organization, and then that would enable you to fundraise and to engage in networks, etc. That kind of funding is really difficult to get a hold of. I think the workshop was quite useful. There were a lot of very practical questions as to how donors function and how you can, what could you do to access funding, but maybe also, I think what also was interesting was to hear what thinking donors have, because a lot of it is also about understanding donors and the limitations they have, and that some of the requirements they pose might just seem really annoying, but there's often a reason for the requirements and for the compliance mechanisms, all the rules you have to uphold, etc., that they are putting forth to organizations that want to access funding from them. I do think it was quite helpful. It was interesting, the questions, and well, it's always nice to feel that you're actually that you can contribute something. From the past 10 years, we've been working with this specific target group and the funding mechanism as an organization that does achieve public funding, institutional funding, and I think it was very nice to see that maybe there's some useful experience there that could be used. Whether or not Afghan associations in Austria could find a similar organization like the Danish Refugee Council, that they could work together to approach the Austrian government to have a similar funding mechanism.